1v1 outer reaches blue side. VindicareX plays a Chaos Lord, durable and destructive commander, walks through cover and cannot be suppressed, fights melee. Up against Edtjuh on the red side as an Inquisitor, offensive, fights melee by default, can get some ranged weapons. Not much support but lots of stuns and snares. Quite a large map, which I think will favour the Imperial Guard, at least early on, with this Sentinel zipping around and decapping stuff. VindicareX going straight up to this wreck point and sending his first unit out to this edge. Edtjuh getting that first on his side. Sentinel destroying cover around the centre. Might go and decap the VP perhaps. Chaos Lord is not the quickest guy, so this big map might work against him. Of course, has Corn Worship to help him get around. Now going after the Sentinel, doing decent enough damage with that Storm Bolter of his, chasing it. Might see him get the Combi Flamer. Inquisitor moving up, capping. Early lead for Edtjuh. Sentinel now firing back with that multi-las. Here is the Corn Worship, boosting the speed of the Chaos Lord, is going to chase down that Sentinel. I think we're definitely going to see the Combi Flavor, surely. Edtjuh goes for Sentinel into another Guardsman squad, double Chaos Space Marines for VindicareX. And here it is, first real engagement. Chaos Space Marines stunned by the Sentinel's ground pound, which is now getting sharp. These Guardsmen need to repair it, I think. These Chaos Space Marines should be forced off. These other Chaos Space Marines leaving them to be forced off. They're trying to force melee here on these Guardsmen. There we go. Chaos Space Marines, very bad news for Guardsmen in melee, as most squads are. Here comes the other Chaos Space Marine squad, and they get away with no losses. Double repair now on this Sentinel. Guardsmen repair faster than other repair units, apart from commanders. When Guardsmen start to repair the Sentinel, you want to shoot at the Guardsmen themselves. Inquisitor chases with her plasma pistol and sword, doesn't take out a model. VindicareX forced off then, but no losses. Not many losses for Edtjuh either. Has a sergeant on both Guardsman squads straight off. And Chaos Lord has to retreat back a long way. Sentinel goes top to decap that contested VP. Heretics surely going to lose a member in retreat. No. Still in a default melee state. And Noise Marines now for VindicareX. Pretty strong tier 1 double Chaos Space Marines into Noise Marines. Edtjuh might struggle if he doesn't get another tier 1 unit. I know Edtjuh does like to use Catachan Devils, which have a pretty nice change planned in 3.19.1 whenever that lands. But they're still a pretty viable unit at the moment, I think. Multi-las turret going down on this central power, he might node it as well. Edtjuh also has this bottom power. VindicareX struggling with map control early on, as you'd expect. But here he comes with his entire army now. Corn Worship for these guys. And there's Crippling Volley from the Inquisitor's crossbow bolt pistol, snaring this entire blob of stuff. Noise Marines have one sound blast shooting at the turret, and the turret goes down. There's a ground pound, excellently done by Edtjuh. But the Guardsmen are in full retreat. And those Noise Marines, as you can see, go straight for Edtjuh's power now. VindicareX pressuring this Sentinel still. 467, 466. Tied up then. And Noise Marines are hitting the power. Down the goes the generator, now working on the node. I don't think it's going to survive. Double Guardsman. Can't really do much against Noise Marines. Will take a lot of damage and completely shut down. Did take out the node, but Sentinel forces them off. VindicareX not wanting to lose a model. Chaos Space Marines capping top 450, 466, and we do see Catachan Devils on the field for Edtjuh. Versatile infantry unit, pretty good in melee with shotguns also, and a grenade launcher. Sentinel survives. Hammer of the Witches cannot take out a Chaos Marine. And Catachan Devils will cap.
Our power node is in jeopardy.
2-1 for VindicareX. Inquisitor decaps the central power, wants to take it back. No pressure on this power for VindicareX then. Does have triple gens of his own. Edtjuh prefers to go quite light power in tier 1 in terms of the amount of generators he puts down. With pretty much every faction he plays as, not just Imperial Guard, which can get away with very little power in tier 1. Sentinel taking a lot of damage from his Chaos Space Marines, but they do have to retreat through a whole bunch of las guns. Can they take out a model? No. 75% less range damage for retreating units, but these Catachan Devils are deadly in retreat. Ouch. Power melee on retreating heavily armoured units was very, very nasty, and a model died very quickly. Lucky not to lose two. Hammer of the Witches on the Chaos Lord stuns him. Here comes Noise Marines and more CSM. Look at the damage these Noise Marines do to these guardsmen, but VindicareX does not move them away from the Sentinel. Excellent Sentinel play by Edtjuh in tier 1 here, and his Heretics are getting torn to shreds by Catachans, who are now in turn shut down by the Noise Marines. Counters within counters, and Catachan Devils run away. Here comes the Chaos Lord, and he does have the Combi Flamer. There was Cacophony. Noise Marines get away with a single model, not cheap to reinforce those guys. Chaos Lord getting low on HP, needs to get a kill the week or he's going to be forced off, and is forced off. Chaos Space Marines now forcing melee. Is ground pound off cooldown? It is, and there it is. Really, really excellent Sentinel play in tier 1 by Edtjuh. And VindicareX in full retreat, still has this triple power. Will Edtjuh bash it? Here comes the Sentinel, perhaps going to check out what is there. And now is shooting them up, but Sentinels are not the best power bashers. VindicareX went tier 2 just first, I think. Here comes Chaos Space Marine to shoot up the Sentinel, which needs to be careful. Still level 1. Commissar queued up for these guardsmen. In fact, both guardsmen squads will take them up to 12 members, and it means they reinforce 3 at a time. Heretics need to run. Chaos Space Marines run. Excellent pressure here from Edtjuh. Might be able to sneak a decap on this VP even. Cacophony shuts down the Inquisitor. Catachan Devils don't want to get close. Shotguns have the range, and Noise Marines lose a model on retreat to Hammer of the Witches. That's the starting ability for the Inquisitor. Here comes the Chaos Lord. Can he get a nice immolate on that blob? Does not go for it. Goes his melee instead. Does force them all off though. Sentinel stalks away, and Blood Crusher on the way for VindicareX. Edtjuh will probably respond with a Stormtrooper squad with that anti-armor kit. Chaos Lord forced off, hasn't really been able to impose his will. I guess the Inquisitor is a pretty good way to deal with him with Hammer of the Witches. And Chaos Space Marine is forced off too, and his power is getting hit. Catachan Devils already have their Sarge, giving them that melter gun you see. Crippling volley on all these Marines and Heretics, but the Inquisitor is getting shot up here and runs. 385, 424, and here is the Blood Crusher. Will it change the game? A demon with vehicle armor. At the moment, the only vehicle counter Edtjuh has is the single melter gun that the Catachan Devil Sergeant has, which is not going to be enough if he chooses to tie them up with it, and he is. There it is. Power melee will do damage to vehicles, but not enough to really threaten one. Pawn Worship, Heretics need to run. I'm amazed these guys are not wiped yet. Catachan Devils get away. This Blood Crusher is really changing the face of the game so far. Noise Marines hitting power now too, and I don't think these guards will be able to stop them. Sentinel and the Inquisitor on the way. There's Cacophony. Blood Crusher in amongst them. Does decent damage to all targets, this thing. And there's the charge, knocking down retreating units. Those Marines are hanging around, they need some support. Here comes Chaos Space Marines, and here comes the Chaos Lord 424. There's Gripping Volley, and here are the Melter Gun Stormtroopers with their anti-armor kit, and this Blood Crusher's in big trouble. There's the Melter Bomb, and look at the damage these guys do to vehicles. They actually do very good damage to all targets, Melter Guns, but they are quite short range, and the Blood Crusher does not last long at all. Guys, Marines take out another generator. There's Let the Galaxy Burn, and this generator survives with 2 hit points and is taken out. Armor the Inferno, giving him that ability. VindicareX caps top with Chaos Space Marines. I think a Havoc would be nice to try and lock down all this infantry that Edtjuh is using very, very well so far. Melter Guns, ouch. Nasty, nasty damage, and Hammer of the Witches, but they do get away. Pretty hardy unit, Chaos Space Marines. Melter Gun Stormtroopers are down 1 model. VindicareX bemoaning his choice to get a Blood Crusher out. One of those things where you just caught in the wrong place at the wrong time with your Blood Crusher, and there's nothing you can do. Here comes the Chaos Lord again with Chaos Space Marines in tow. 329-414. They're going to run into Guardsmen who have Plasma Guns. No pushover when they're fully upgraded with Plasma Guns. Look at the damage they're doing to these Chaos Space Marines. Take out a model, in fact. And here's the other squad with Plasma Guns also. These Chaos Space Marines are taking tons of damage. VindicareX keeping them in there, and they retreat with 2 models. Let the Galaxy Burn, perfectly aimed on those Guardsmen. Ouch. Took out 6 models. They will reinforce 3 at a time though. There's the Mandate for the Inquisitor, very, very popular accessory choice. There's Crippling Volley. Inquisitor needs to run, I think, and does. 2-1 again for Edtjuh. Here come Katashan Devils and Stormtroopers with Melters. Chaos Lord taking tons of damage from these guys. There's Immolate, excellently spotted by Edtjuh, and he runs. Heretics are in the retreat path, and I think they took out 1 model. Sentinel decaps, and this power's been decapped. VindicareX struggling, now has Bloodletters on the field though. Demon Infantry, good damage versus all targets and can teleport. Sentinel trying to take out some heretic models. Has really neglected these heretics, VindicareX. I think a couple of, or at least 1 grenade launch heretics would really help him deal with these infantry blobs. But he now has a Blastmaster, which is very, very bad news for blobs of Guardsmen. Can it get a shot off though? Under plasma fire? No, runs away. Sentinel, no upgrades for this guy, has done really well, has really made a difference in this game, I think. Chaos Space Marines get shot to bits. Here are the Bloodletters. Can they finish off that Sentinel? No. There's the ground pound. Guardsmen are getting shot up pretty badly. There's Let the Galaxy Burn. Nicely done by VindicareX. Might wipe those Guardsmen. With Blood Crusher help, those Guardsmen go down. That's a big loss for Edtjuh. They were fully upgraded and might have been leveled as well. Here's a Manticore Strike. Spotted quickly by VindicareX. Ouch, still took a hit there. Here come those Katashan Devils, and they are now leveled to 2. Chaos Lord runs away. Mandate making this Inquisitor invulnerable for a short time. Shooting away with a crossbow bolt pistol, and there's Hammer of the Witches. Will it take out a model? No. Map is mostly in Edtjuh's favour, as it has been for most of the game. 215-414. Bloodletters doing their job then, taking out those Guardsmen. And now Heretics have an aspiring champion, so not going to be quite so squishy. We'll be able to support the Bloodletters longer in combat. Stormtroopers still down to 4 members. Crippling Volley on those Chaos Space Marines, and there's a Manticore Strike, a very good combination since it pretty much forces you to retreat. Bloodletters now under Corn Worship will gain speed, energy regen, and health regen since they're a demon, and can pretty much tank this Sentinel's multilass. Inquisitor in retreat. Was trying to get into the retreat path, but excellent play by Edtjuh again with his Sentinel. 184-414. It's a 2-to-1 for Edtjuh, and Havoc's finally Havoc's on the field, well, on the way for VindicareX. Curse Lord going to the top to cap. Has done a lot better since got that Armor of the Inferno. Haven't seen him used Immolate effectively, but it's pretty difficult to get off on a good player like Edtjuh. He's going to spot that a mile off. 169-414. Edtjuh replacing the guardsmen he lost and giving them a sergeant and plasma guns. Chaos Lord is now getting harassed. Turns around, caps the VP from the other side so he can shoot while he caps. Your infantry will shoot while they cap, but they have to be facing the target. But he's getting really shot to bits here. Might go down. No, gets away. Havoc's now on the field, might help out. So they get a Manticore to the face though. Get away. Better to say it might help VindicareX control all this infantry. Heretics need to run, Bloodletters get away. But they did take out that Manticore, look at that. With their melee heavy, they will make short work of Manticore, especially if they get rear armor hits. Did not see what happened though. Sentinels still around. Level 2 deserves some upgrades, I think. Triple gens go down for Edtjuh. 2 gens for VindicareX. Red resource pretty much even. Havoc's now making the way to the top setup team that's suppressed by default with a heavy bolter. Here are some infiltrated stormtroopers though. Havoc's won't be able to see them and they're going to get shot up here. Ouch, there goes one model. And the retreat. Here's Corn Worship. Grenade launchers go in from the Kadashan Devils. And there's that Galaxy Burn on a big blob of stuff. Edtjuh spots it early, moves away. Bloodletters teleport in and are instantly locked down here. Then they phase out. They will take no damage. But need to be very careful now under Corn Worship again. VindicareX needs to try and push here. Meanwhile, Stormtrooper's taking out his power. Curse Lord stunned. Inquisitor gets away. Curse Lord taking tons of damage. Ouch. And runs. Full retreat for VindicareX, I think. I don't think his Heretic's going to stay in there. There is a blood sacrifice, and here's a group of Bloodletters. Instantly grenaded in the face. Here they come again. These are temporary Bloodletters. Global ability of the Curse Lord, and they're not going to be able to do too much damage, I don't think. They are under Corn Worship, and one model is staying in there. Curse Space Marine is also forcing melee. 113-414. Curse Space Marines run away. And Bloodletters go back to the warp. Here are the permanent Bloodletter squad. Under Corn Worship, these Heretics, or Aspiring Champion as it is, needs to get closer though, and his Bloodletters need support. A bit over eager for VindicareX, needs to consolidate his forces, getting Mark of Zinch now. I think he really wants to deal with that Sentinel with Mark of Zinch. Bloodletters, what are they doing? Tripling volley, but they retreat out of it, and lucky not to lose a model. Here's the Havoc's. One model remaining, needs to be very careful. Sentinel, take it down surely, yes. Wow, that took ages to take out. These Inferno bolts doing tons of damage to its heavy armor. I think it was the Havoc that did most of the damage though. And these are Bloodletters teleporting in. Knocked back by the Kadashan Devils. They are demons, so they cannot actually be suppressed. The shotgun blast did knock them back though. And now they are phased out and under Corn Worship. Inquisitor runs away, and the Bloodletters will retake VindicareX's natural. It's 62-414, and it's a double for Edtjuh. Double Mark of Zinch CSM. I don't think they're going to be able to outshoot this blob. Mark of Corn might have been better now that the Sentinel's gone, but that's easier to say. Chaos Lord at the top capping. tier 3 for Edtjuh, and Edtjuh's sitting pretty much everything up there to defend. Havoc's taken out. Oh, they know. Get away. Here come Bloodletters. Again, hugely outnumbered. Not much they can do against that. They are under Corn Worship. I don't think that's enough. And here's another Blood Sacrifice squad. And here's the Chaos Lord. There's Let the Galaxy Burn. And full retreat from Edtjuh. Didn't want to risk, especially with these Bloodletters around, didn't want to risk just moving off. And Crippling Volley saves that squad perhaps. Gets away with 6 models and 200 hit points. 38,398. Now it's a 2-1 for VindicareX. Can he pull this around? It would be an amazing comeback if he can. Has preserved these squads reasonably well. Just hasn't been able to push against Edtjuh. Now the Sentinel is down though. And no Manticore. You might sense it could turn. Bloodletters under Corn Worship trying to cap. There's Purgatus, ouch. As you can see, Edtjuh cancelled it right as the edge got to the Bloodletters, which is why they took so much damage. Bloodletters still under Corn Worship, but they're not going to have to stand against that firepower. Here are the Havocs now. Grenade launch to the face. And retreat. 38,369. Edtjuh is tier 3. Nowhere near the power to get a Bane Blade. There's a rocket run. That's the global nuke for Imperial Guard, and look at that, Let the Galaxy Burn. Scorching a bunch of guardsmen, and they are retreating, but so is the Curse Lord, and VindicareX is probably going to lose the top here, and perhaps lose the game because of it. Another Blood Crusher on the way. Ogren's cancelled. Edtjuh now goes for another Manticore. Those Bloodletters are still around though. Pretty much perfect for taking out Manticores. Lots of damage, teleport, and they won't be suppressed by the base turrets. Stormtroopers called in. That's a global ability of the Inquisitor. There's Purgatus, ouch. Backed up by Guardsmen. Heretics moving in. And again, all this firepower coming in. Bloodletters having to phase out just to get into melee range. And now they're going to start losing models again. 34, 3, 4, 1, 2 to 1 for Edtjuh. And I think this is GG right here. Guardsmen leveling up. Manticore strike on the Curse Lord. Can't quite take out those Bloodletters with Hammer of the Witches. Well, very nearly did. 24, 3, 4, 1. Chaos Dreadnought on the way for VindicareX. Will he be able to get out of base in time to make a difference though? I think he should go right across and try and take Edtjuh's natural with it, because it's going to be a bit slow to get all the way to the top. And here it is, under Corn Worship right now. Yes, it affects vehicles. This is a Walker with a autocannon by default. Good damage versus all targets with a small AoE. Backed up by Bloodletters, but the timer is running out. And here, no, stops the VP counter. Kills Space Marines, decapping Edtjuh's natural. 2, 3, 4, 1. But they're going to die, are they? No. Inquisitor might force melee. No. That autocannon's scaring her off. She's going to cap though with her mandate, I think. And now it's going to be GG. Out. Manticore strike on the Bloodletters. Not putting her mandate up. There it is. Manticore shooting with its heavy bolter on front. The Inquisitor finishes the cap. Yes. And there is the victory for Edtjuh. Pretty nice game. I think the Sentinel really made a difference in tier 1. VindicareX just could not deal with it. I think he should have gone for Havocs instead of Noise Marines. It is a big map, so setup teams can struggle to get around it, but I think the Havocs setup covering the center here would have been really, really good. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.